Your story, I mean, I see why you have almost a cult-like following. Your story is amazing, how it's all happened. But I think you'd agree you're at a seminal point in terms of welcoming, I don't know, more regulation, maybe more clarity about how everything's being done, just because it's getting so big now that there's no way around it at this point. You're not really centralized. You're not domiciled anywhere where you could be subject to regulatory agencies. So just to concede that's coming and to be a part of doing it instead of against doing it is in your best interest right now.
Oh, absolutely. I think right now we're at the pivotal point, and we need to change from a technology company into a financial services company. And we started this process 4 or 5 months ago, and we've done a lot since then. It's very clear for a centralized exchange, we need a centralized structure. So we are setting up headquarters, offices, regional headquarters, and local branches, etc. And we have physical location, we have real entities, etc. So that whole, when we started as a decentralized organization, but as the industry gets bigger, the regulators are looking at this industry, and decentralized organizations, the regulators don't know how to work with decentralized structures. So we're setting up all those centralized structures now. And we believe very strongly that regulations are good for this industry. Right now, crypto adoption is probably around 5%, probably 400 to 500 million people around the world have crypto. Those are the early adopters. For the rest of the 7.5 billion, they probably prefer some kind of a regulated entity with more structure. And we think this is better for the industry to grow.
There was a cachet to the way you did business prior to what is going to become a reality, I think, CZ, because crypto is decentralized. You were decentralized. Crypto is kind of anonymous, and there's a cachet to the privacy involved. You kind of had that at Binance, but it can't continue. You're just too big. And I don't know what happens with Binance USA. You had a former regulator, and Brian's now gone. If you were able to do an IPO, I look at the kind of money that you could raise, or I look at what do you think Binance is worth right now if you were able to get all your regulatory ducks in a row? 300 billion?
People have talked about the number. Valuations are very subjective. I think basically we should be one of the most valuable companies in the world, and I think we built something that's very, very, very valuable. And we fully want to embrace regulation. To that point, we have recently released a crypto bill of rights, so we hired many former ex-regulators, ex-government officials to join our team. Brian Brooks did leave us, but we actually have way more joining than the guys who are leaving. So yes, there is turnover on the team, and that's inevitable. But we have way more other regulators. Other very senior people. We have senior people from U.S. Treasury. We have senior people from FBI. We have senior people from UK FCA. So we have many senior people joining us. And also in the crypto industry, it's not black and white. There are groups of people who are very focused on decentralized technologies, decentralized structures, etc. Most of those projects are relatively small. Today, if we look at where all the wealth is, most of the wealth is still in traditional financial systems. We need to build a bridge between those two, and Binance wants to be the bridge between those two industries. And if we want to be the bridge, we got to connect to traditional financial industries, and we need to be fully licensed, and we need to have centralized structures. But just because the Binance centralized exchange have a centralized structure doesn't mean that the whole crypto have to be centralized. We still also invest very heavily in DeFi protocols, GameFi, NFTs, SocialFi, sports fan tokens, etc. So there's a spectrum of things. But for one of our largest businesses, the centralized exchange, as you said, is large enough that it has to be regulated.